Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrorists. Scott McTominay saves Solskjaer's blushes tonight. A really poor performance overall. There is absolutely no doubt about it. Simply not good enough. Simply not good enough from Manchester United. There was no real spark. There was a lack of oomph. There was a lack of work rate. There was a lack of desire. There were very few courageous players on the field of play tonight. And if West Ham maybe had a little bit more invention, they maybe had a little bit more desire to win the game themselves, they could have done. Dawson at the death, coming very, very close with a headed attempt. And then, as we saw in the beginning of the first half of extra time, a good counter-attack from United, a wonderful flicked inside ball for Rashford, which really rewarded his hard work in this game. And there he was, Scott McTominay, with his 7th goal of the season. What a tremendous season this young man is having, to save Solskjaer's blushes, to really help the superstars tonight that let Manchester United down. So many opportunities. Do you know what they did tonight, United? They were so poor, it stopped Amad Diallo from getting his debut, and nearly, or it could have been a much more embarrassing result in the end. But United did get through it. We do pick up the 3 points, we do go through to the next round, which is very, very important indeed. But we're going to open up the lines for you to come on and have your say. We're going to be having Frankie on from the Claret and Blue Army TV that was on the preview last night. The panel will be here soon as well. KJ, Kesh, Bits and Bobs, and Man Like Neeks will be here a little bit later on in the show, so make sure you're tuning in. We're going to share the link for you all to come on and have your say, but make sure you're smashing that like button first and foremost. Get that done. Listen, I know you guys want certain people banned from the comment section, but they just make new accounts, so the best thing to do is ignore it. If you just ignore it, it goes away. There's a comment here from Dana who says that was an absolute snore fest. And you're right, it was. You're right, it was. It was so poor from Man United. The only real moment of brilliance was the goal. As I say, a good counter-attack, good cross by Fred. The touch from Rashford to put it into the path of Scotty Mac was brilliant. But aside from that, overall, really disappointing night for Man United. I don't even think the most passionate Manchester United fan could deny that. I don't even think the most passionate Manchester United fan could deny that. Someone here says 7th goal, emphatic. Bruv, Scott McTominay's a DM, bruv. 7 goals. Can you find me another CDM or double pivot midfielder with that many goals this year? Come on, bro. Come on, Stu Mac, sorry. I know you're bitter, bruv, but come on. That's not going to work here. The Stranger says, West Ham United park the bus. Hard to break down a team who've had everyone behind the ball. Yeah, it is. But what you need is desire. Let me just say this now, right? It's about desire. So I saw something during the game which infuriated me. And I've kind of come to this conclusion now with football fans that the hipsters have taken over. The hipsters have taken over, and the players that try and fail to succeed seem to get more issues, more criticism than the players that are cowards, the players that show no courage, the players that don't try to achieve. So tonight, Marcus Rashford getting so much, oh, he's rubbish, he's not coming off, he's running into dead ends. He's trying. Completed a lot of dribbles tonight. The most creative player on the pitch, factually, and ended up setting up the goal. Was the only player outside of Scotty McTominay's attempt that went in to actually get into a goal-scoring position tonight. Football fans have become so warped by don't lose the ball retention, total football, which has existed with actual results a couple of times in the history of the game. It's an absolute nonsense. We need more Man United players to step up, grab the game by the scruff of the neck and work hard. And I don't mean run around like headless chickens, tracking down and pressing every ball. That's not working hard. That's working stupid. I'm talking about if you're a fullback and you go for the overlap twice and it doesn't come off, the ball don't get played, don't stop doing it. Marshall, you make one run and somebody doesn't find you with the ball, don't stop making it. You persevere. You need that movement. You need that perseverance. It's how you grind teams down. The very best teams in the world do it. Half the reason the Man United patterns of play are not as regular is because we have some coward players in this team, as far as I'm concerned. We're going to get onto that a little bit more later. Terry, let's be honest. Us without Bruno is like Spurs without Kane. We went for it in extra time. The 90 minutes was shockingly crap. I agree with you. We don't have enough players out there going for it, and we're gonna come a cropper. We're gonna come a cropper if we keep playing and performing like that. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. We're gonna share the link in a few moments' time. Smash that like button. Nearly 2,000 people watching across all platforms. Make sure you're smashing that like button for us. Really important to the Football Terrace that you get that done right now. We're not going to bring the panel on or the board on until we're on at least 500 likes tonight. So you all need to go out there and get that done right about now. Harrison Lang here, one of our members, says, Terry, on that United show, people saying McTominay should be dropped because he's got nothing about him. They said he is plain rice. Sorry, but those undertones are disgusting. Have a word with the panel tonight. Listen, I didn't hear that bit. I haven't reviewed that show. Listen, that's a disgraceful comment. Plain rice. Absolute nonsense. People have got to stop with these nasty comments about Scott McTominay. You don't want to say he's a good enough footballer. Don't say he's not a good enough footballer. 7 goals this season. A couple of match-winning performances. Energetic, hard-working, good play in the middle. To slag Scott McTominay off, I'll say it at my chest. Do you know what you're doing? You're looking for attention. You're looking for attention when you do that. You don't really mean it. It's intellectually dishonest with yourselves. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. A lot of hating here for Martial tonight. Again, really poor performance from him. There's no doubt about that. I thought he was invisible. Absolutely invisible. Absolutely invisible. There's no doubt about it. Comment here from Who Knows. Says Scotty over the Ox and Jordan Henderson. Listen, Scott McTominay is better than Jordan Henderson, or will become better than Jordan Henderson as he gets older and as he matures. This season, he's adding goals to his game. He's adding leadership to his game. Certain football hipsters just don't like him because it isn't all stepovers and pirouettes and Cruyff turns. What he brings is a solid performer, a good passer, someone who works hard, that is disciplined in the position that they're in, would die for the cause, and that's needed, will not give up. And on top of that, starting to score goals. As I say, very good passer of the ball, drives forward with the play, shields the back four. It isn't all just work rate, passion, and slapping the badge on his chest. Much more to his game than that, no doubt about it, especially them 7 goals this season. Super chat here from Martin says, nice to see the Glazers know how to run a football organization. Am I right, Terry? Listen, hashtag Tampa Bay Bucks. Yeah, they know how to run that okay. They know how to run that okay. There's no doubt about it. Keep hitting that like and share button, people. Right about now, let's get this done. Our players are not trash apart from our centre-backs, but I am now questioning how our manager is managing this situation. Bow Gig, or GGGG. I thought it said gigs, sorry. Tell me why, though. I love you guys giving super chat. Sometimes you make half a statement, and I don't know what to do with it. So if you're questioning how he's managing the situation, what about it? Give us something to work on here. That, bro, means nothing to me. It doesn't mean anything to me. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Am I the only one who thought Martial wasn't bad tonight? He probably should have scored at the end, but he didn't get enough service. Like, my view on Martial tonight was simple. It was very, very simple. He doesn't have enough movement off the ball. He came alive, though, when he went out to the left-hand side. As soon as he moved out to the left, it was a different Martial. He's not a number 9. That question, that experiment, that question, that test, the results are in. He is not a number 9. Andre here says, Tampa were rubbish for 20 years. The last time they won was in 2021. Yeah, I listen, I'm not really going to get into the NFL debate because I don't watch it, bruv. And I'm really not that bothered. I really don't care. Shane here says, Scotty Mac could really be better than what everyone thinks if we start playing him to his strengths, not as a holding midfielder. Reminds me of Lampard a bit. Do you know what I love about the Scott McTominay argument, the Rashford argument, is Martial and Pogba and Fred, they always get protected because of tactics. But Scott McTominay and Rashford and Maguire, it's all about the individual player. That's what I love about football hipsters. That's why there's no point arguing with them. It's like talking to crazy. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you all right, mate? Yeah, I'm good. What have you been doing today? Microwave. That's how much sense they make. It just literally backwards thought processes around football all the time. Terry United to do the double. Listen, Monsieur, you're not going to call me out on that one, brother. You're not going to get me pulled out on that one. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. Let's go to some of our first callers. We're going to share the link now in the comment section. If you want to come on and have your say, come prepared, come with something to say, make a statement, make a point, etc. We're going to be getting Frankie on first, West Ham fan. Frankie, welcome back to the Terrace, mate. How are you?
Not bad, mate, and you couldn't get further from a football hipster with me, mate. So hopefully we can tell it how it is, mate.
Yeah, I mean, what did you make of West Ham's performance tonight? Were you happy with it, annoyed with it? What's going on?
Just what I expected. We said it all before the game, mate, that the only thing that we was going to do was try and sit every man behind the ball and nick a 1-0 win, and that's exactly what we did. It was always coming. I said to you on the preview show that I was very worried that Antonio wasn't going to be featuring, and then he didn't, and if he didn't, who else is going to play up there? Well, we only had Yarmolenko as an option, and mate, that geezer is so far removed from being a forward, it's unbelievable. So we carried little to no threat, and the only way that we could play that game was doing what we did, and it was a proper stinker, mate. And I think you've been very, very harsh on yourselves, because I think we come out there to really upset that game and just make it a stinker like we did, and it was always going to be so difficult for you, but you got the job done, which was the main thing, mate.
Yeah, do you know what? Listen, it's always nice to hear the Oppo's view on how they watch the game. My thought on it was very much about it was a lack of courage. So if I look at Donny van der Beek as an example, and I'm sure the panel is going to speak about it later, maybe other callers were, every time he got the ball, there were options to move it forward or to dribble with it or take a shot. And it was, no, I don't want to lose possession. I'm going to pass it sideways. There was no risk-taking with us, and we had opportunities in certain areas, and we just didn't capitalize enough. But you are right. There was no attacking threat at all from yourself. I mean, not bringing Benrahma on earlier, I looked at it as, shocking. You're not trying to win a game. David Moyes, it was almost like he was happy just to go to penalties, if that makes sense.
It was exactly his plan, and it's not the first time we've seen it this season. He's done it against other teams. He's done it against some really poor sides as well, where he's just set up to nick a 1-0 win. He done it against Everton. When it comes off, it don't look too bad. And you sit there and it's horrible to watch. It's boring. It's not good. But when you get that away win, you come away happy. But it always has that chance to backfire like it did this evening. Benrahma was the one man I think should have started, because if he did, he had that little bit of spark, that little bit of creativity that we needed to try and make something happen. If you're going to play in that way, you've got to have someone out there who can nick a goal. And I just don't think we did. And I said to you on the previous show as well, we'd put the shackles on Souček. I think he obviously had his ban turned around for this game, which was really important to us. And then I think he had the shackles put on him, to be honest, as well, and made it really difficult. The one that we've been having a lot of issues this year with players playing out of position and getting stick, and Cresswell's been doing it and he got a lot of stick. He's turned his form around. We've had other players like that as well. I think Martial tonight, when he was playing down the middle, was non-existent, but when he come out to the left, mate, I thought he looked a threat. And I always said to you in the preview show that was where he could get in behind us and upset us, because Soufal has this bomb forward kind of mentality, and you did start to catch us out when Martial pulled out wide, and I think that changed the game a little bit. So I was quite surprised to see him down the middle, but when he played in his natural position, I know he gets a lot of stick, but I thought he looked good and dangerous from that left-hand side. For me, the disappointment, and I know you said about, he did have an effect on game and create more chances. My worry with Rashford, as an England fan as well, going into a European Championship, is when you've got those top level players, your Messis, your Ronaldos, players like that, they make something happen in the game. Even if it's not going that way, even if there's loads of people, like the chances are not coming, they'll create this moment of magic and create something out of nowhere. For me, it never looked like Rashford was going to do that tonight. And sometimes I look at him and he looks too soft. Sometimes I want to see a bit of aggression. I want to see him take the ball by the horns and grab hold of a game and go like, I'm the main man, look at me. He's supposed to be the striker for Manchester United, will stand up and take
I hear you
it.
on that. For me, he works hard and perseveres. I want to see that. You see it, Bruno does it, Cavani does it. They're like, listen, I can outwork you, I can outmuscle you, I can fight you through this. And this is where, again, football hipsters get it wrong. Yes, skills, techers, passing, your silks, whatever you want to call them, are important. Your technique, your ability. When it comes to the Premier League and British football as a whole, you're going to get kicked. You're going to get pulled down. You're going to get hurried. You're going to get smashed about a little bit. And if you don't have the fight in each and every single game to work through that, you're going to be found out. Frankie, mate, I appreciate you coming on, having your say, buddy. And we'll speak again really, really soon.
Cheers, mate.
Top man. Thank you very much, buddy. Next caller on the show, man. Remember the panel are going to be on soon, so stay tuned. Make sure you're all smashing that like button for us right about now. Let's get this past the 500 mark before the panel get here. First up's going to be man like Pav. Pav, welcome back to the terrace, mate. What do you want to say?
Yeah, pretty much like anyone else have said, the game was pretty much boring, but it was boring because West Ham were just sitting back with all their players, and we found it hard to try and get the ball through that whole 11 of their players. And I reckon it would have been a little bit different if you had someone like Cavani starting from the start. Could have like crossed in the ball or something like that, but we can't get past these sort of teams. They just sit at the back. It's hard for us to play the ball through.
Yeah,
but then obviously
I get that, Pav. I want to ask you a question about it. Do me a favor. Your mic's doing that thing again, bro, where it's not consistent and maybe it's moving as you're talking. Donny van der Beek came in tonight, played in that 10 role. What were your thoughts on his performance?
I'm not too sure what the tactics are when Donny van der Beek is playing, because he plays like I thought he was playing like a striker today. It was like we were playing a 4-2-4. And you're right, like he doesn't take risks. He was just playing it side to side, playing it too safe. And I wanted to see more from him. He had this chance today, and I think he was like below average. I think he had like maybe one chance where he whipped an across, but I think he was offside or something like that. But I don't remember anything that he actually done that's worth remembering. But he doesn't play much, so I'm not going to put too much criticism on him because he doesn't get enough games under his belt, and he doesn't even come on as a sub in the Premier League game. So I can't give this guy too much criticism.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I understand where you're coming from in relation to he doesn't get a lot of game time, but I want to see him try and make an impact. He just looks too timid. He looks too scared. He looks too lightweight, in my opinion. When he plays, there's no oomph. There's no get up and go. Have a shot. Have an attempt. If you try a pass and it doesn't come off, so what? Try again. Just a cowardly performance, in my view and opinion. Were you disappointed not to see Amad Diallo come onto the field of play?
Oh, mate, do you know what? I think as a whole fan base, we all had hopes and dreams today, of seeing Diallo come on. But I think Ollie just literally brought him along like it's a school trip to give him a little stadium tour, and that was it. I'm a little bit pissed that he didn't come on. I wanted to see him, man.
Yeah, I hear you on that, mate. Listen, Pav, as ever, thank you very much for coming on, having your say, mate. Really do appreciate it, and we'll speak to you again soon. Panel coming up in the next 10 minutes, people. We've got there's 1,500 people watching here. There's 500 over on Facebook. So make sure you're smashing the like button. We don't get past the 500 mark, panel's not going to be here. Make sure you're hitting it, people. Let's get it done. Next up on the show is Satan's favorite devil. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. What do you want to say?
Yeah, it was a pretty okay game. There wasn't really much happening on. I'm really happy to go through and get the win, if I'm being quite honest. The one thing that's a little bit frustrating is, and it's a reoccurring theme lately. We tend to struggle very greatly against teams that set up the defensive low blocks, and it's the reason why it's frustrating is because you can see that the ideas are there and the patterns of play are there. It's just the implementation that's a little bit all over the place, and it's kind of the reason why I'm very, very hopeful that we can still go get someone like a Jadon Sancho, or hopefully the Amad Diallo can come in, because we're hopeful that we can bring in players of a different ilk that can add a different element to our game.
So on that, so your view is the system's fine, the tactics are fine. It's just players not taking the risk or not having the ability to pull it off.
It's a little bit of basically the way that we play, the way that we're set up, and the staff basically that we include into our play. You have Rashford, you have Greenwood, and you have Cavani. Those are players that really, they're not team players, and I mean that not in a sort of in a negative way. They're strikers. When they pick up the ball, the first thing that comes into their mind is, how do I score? How do I get a shot? They're not really about moving the ball around. We basically play with 3 strikers up front, and I feel like we really need to find more players that are similar to Anthony Martial. I know Anthony Martial's not really having a good time, but Martial has that quality of working tight spaces, of keep the ball flowing, keeping the rhythm, continuous. And I feel like that's the one thing that Rashford, Greenwood, and Cavani don't have. It's not really an element of mockery or anything like that. I'm not trying to insult them. They're strikers. The first thing that comes into their mind is to score. And I feel like we need more midfielders. We need more chance creators in the team.
Okay, there we go. Great call, mate. Thank you very much for coming on, having your same bro, and we'll chat to you again soon. A couple more callers and the panel's going to be here. Next up's Tommy. Tommy is a West Ham fan. What are you saying, mate?
Mate, what is your style of play? Like, I do not see it. I don't see it.
Hang on, you're a West Ham fan. What about your style of play tonight, bruv?
No, you know what it is? I'll probably get salt for this, mate. But Ollie, mate, I don't know what he plays, mate. Honestly, like, I don't get why you want him as manager. Honestly, I don't get it at all. Like, you say you improve. Look, you got lucky with today. And like, we don't even have a striker, mate. Like, you know what I mean? Look, I give credit to it, but I don't know. You say you improved. You conceded more goals than last season. Yet your centre backs and all your defenders cost 200 million, and also like. I just don't get where all this it's improved. The players have improved, not your team. Like, he needs to win something this season. Otherwise, I don't know why you give him a new contract.
Well, there's no new contracts. But Tom, I have to say, it's the weirdest phone call we've ever had. I mean, he's not been.
You know,
hang on a minute, Tom.
I just thought it'd be different. No, I just thought it'd be a bit different.
Hang on. I mean, different. I mean, it's off the Richter scale. I mean, he's not been offered a new contract, so I don't know where that's come from. We have improved. Defensively, we haven't this year. We've had a bad year defensively. But of course we've improved. We've got 10, 11 more points in the league, like for like. So there's definitely been an improvement.
But that's what you say if you're like a mid-table team. Like, if you're a big team, you haven't won a trophy in 2 years. Like, if this is any other manager, if this is any other manager but Ollie, they would want to.
Hang on. But what are you saying though? No, where are we claiming to have won trophies, or where are we claiming to be good enough to win trophies? I don't understand your comment. Where it's come from?
I'm just saying, like, I don't get where all this love is for Ollie. Like, I just think you're being a bit too soft with it. Like, you're Man United. Like, I don't think you have improved. Like, you're going through the same thing. You ain't winning anything with him. Like, you know what I think it is? I'll give credit to him because I think he has done well. Like, I think people probably where he's come from and everything, I think people are expecting him to do bad, but he's done all right. But I just think to get that next level, I think you should cut ties. Like, yeah, he's a legend of the club, obviously. If it was my position, then yeah, I'd have a full side. Like, look, he's a legend. I want him to do well, want him to win cups with him, but I just don't think you're going to get to the higher level with him. That's all I'm saying, really.
Okay, and from your point of view, how happy were you with David Moyes' performance tonight?
You know what it is, like, I don't know. It's hard because I'm more angry at the owners because obviously they let us down. This is what I mean, like with owners, like they let us down in the January window because we haven't even got a striker, Terry. We only got one striker. Like,
I mean, it's interesting. It's interesting you say that, Tommy, because all true United fans will know Ollie in their heart of hearts. They all know that Ollie. It's very unlikely that he's going to become the man that's going to make us win the Premier League title. But what they'll also tell you.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
but what they'll also tell you is that the owners are our problem as well. So it's interesting. Again, outside of Man United, people don't look at it that way. Tommy, great call, mate. Thanks for coming on, having your say. Really appreciate it. Nice challenge as well, mate. We like that. At least, do you know what I like about Tommy, boy? He comes on and says something. So many of you phone up and just speak for like 5 minutes, and I'm sitting there thinking, but what's your point? Half your comments are like that as well. Say sank. Have some chest. No echo chambers here. Big shout out to Manscaped, our title sponsors. Use promo code TFT to get 20% off all your male grooming products. The fourth official says, Terry, these players were awful today. It's like they were up all night watching Saliba's OnlyFans. Oh, bruv. Listen, maybe. Listen, they were terrible today. As a collective group, we were awful today. Cowardice. The Man United players today were cowards. We're doing one more call, then the panel's coming, people. Smash that like button, please. 50 more likes until we hit the 500 marker. Let's go, baby. Let's get this done. We're going to have Aaron on the show. Aaron, welcome back. What are you saying?
Firstly, last time I came on, I said we hope to relish in our victories together. Well, this time it's the opposite. You got a victory and we didn't. We got battered by Captain Pugwash Fleetwood Town 3-1 today. So, what
did you make of Man United's performance tonight, Aaron?
Yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm not going to, faff about. Look at it from both perspectives. I think from a Man United perspective, I think that overall, collectively, as you said, they were very poor. I think that Van der Beek does not get used in the right way. The Scott McTominay goal, this is what I want to see from Scott McTominay. He's a Duracell bunny. He absolutely has loads of energy. And I think once you put him in a position where he makes runs ahead of Bruno Fernandes, that's where you see the best of him. He's not a lone CDM. He's a box-to-box midfielder, as is Fred, as is Pogba, as is Donny van der Beek. So, and I said this weeks ago. I said this on the channel weeks ago. I would like to see Van der Beek and McTominay as box-to-box midfielders, not CDMs, behind Bruno Fernandes, the 4-2-3-1 attacking formation. And when you see McTominay making those forward runs, that's when we see the best of Scott McTominay because he's not a lone CDM. From a West Ham perspective, mate, their owners, I'm glad I've got the owners I've got because the Glazers surely haven't backed Man United. But I think it's one of those where Man United take the win and move on. It's one of those we have to just move on from it. From a West Ham point of view, they need to get a striker. Oh, that's my laptop going down. They need a bloody striker. They need a striker. And if they don't go out and buy one, I'm sorry, but Moyes brand new owners to back him. But overall, Terry, Man United need to take the win and, we'll move on to Sunderland on Sunday and get back on winning ways. Rowers till I die. See you on the panel. Good luck on the panel.
Top man. Thank you very much. All the best. Remember, we want to talk about Donny van der Beek's performance tonight. I want to speak about Amad Diallo not getting his opportunity as well. Scotty Mack as well. Man of the match, in my opinion. Got the match winner. We're going to get the panel on now, though, people. Neeks and Kesh are a little bit late. I've sent them the link. I did share it in the group chat earlier. They must not have seen it. The rest of the boys did. Let's jump into the panel side of things now. Let's hit that like and share button, people. Right about now. Let's share this on your social media platforms. And let's do this. Gentlemen, how are we?
Yeah, listen, we won. Listen, let's be positive things here. Clean sheet, we did not concede. Okay, mentality, we've played another game of football and we've won. So be it in extra time. No fatal injuries, nothing that was reported. Van der Beek got some minutes. Very disappointed not to see Diallo, but I can understand why that. However, that's the positives done. Now, I wouldn't say this is negatives, Terry, or KJ. I would just say just a few concerns that we're not really using Donny van der Beek very well. I feel his runs are not being seen. We're not using him very well. I think we saw why Scott McTominay has to play. Obviously, when he scored, the Scotsman, I put the flags out in the group chat. Also, a bit worried that when it was 0-0, we changed our fullbacks. Cavani has to start. I think this is obvious. And I'm going to say something here. We need to sell Martial. And why I'm saying that, Terry, okay, I think right now, he's done. When I say done, I don't mean like he's useless. I'm saying for us right now, as in being effective, he's not first choice. We're accommodating him. Why are we playing Rashford? You saw when Greenwood came off, another substitution Ollie always does. We move Rashford to the right. Where does Rashford play? Left wing. We're allowing Martial. We're trying to get him confidence. I'm sorry, mate. Like the previous caller before the other one said, we're Man United. Cutthroat. If you're not playing well, get off the park. Do you know what I mean? Simple as that. And I tell you this, the Diallo thing, I saw the fan base not wanting Diallo come on. Do you know what, I've been there when you make the bench, you're in the squad. Sometimes you're just there, just for mentality, just to see what the players are doing, how the players prep, the conversations that I had in the warm-up, He will come on. He will come on. But it was very bold of David Moyes to put the young boy on. And I must say, I feel sorry for him to come on, Man United away, and obviously to come off. But yeah, listen, like I said, we won. You know, into the next round, seven years in a row. We move.
I hear that. Neeks, you jumped in when Bob said that sell Anthony Martial, he's finished. What's your views on that, first of all? I need to jump into it.
Listen, I've already said it last few weeks, innit? Martial right now, Martial is our second choice left winger. And right now, he's our third choice striker for me. Obviously, for Solskjaer, he's second choice behind Cavani. But I would have Greenwood ahead of him because he's playing so bad right now. But for me to say sell Martial, that means we're going to have to go buy 2 wingers in the summer. We're going to have to go buy 2 wingers in the summer.
We just bought one for 40 million.
Yeah, well, it's 18 plus add-ons, but we have to see. Like, let's say, come the end of the season, if Diallo's mashing it up, and then we say, cool, Diallo's won, and go and get Sancho, I might agree with you.
Okay,
because one second. Because at that point, Martial's game time is going to be heavily reduced. But I'm not banking on Diallo being a first choice. I can't bank on that right now, and I can't even guarantee we're going to go get a winger.
Yep.
So
can you guarantee Martial should be a starter right now?
No.
I hear what he's saying, Nix. I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying to you is that this season, okay, Martial, yes, he had a great season, but so what? That was last season. We didn't win anything. We didn't do anything. We came third. So what? This season, where it was to go make your mark, convince Ollie and the fan base you're the main striker, and hold tight. He's not a striker. Let's just get this out of the way. He's a left winger. Okay, he thinks he's a striker playing in his garden with his kids, but he's not one when it comes to Man United.
Correct.
Okay, now what our best left winger at the moment is Rashford.
Yes.
So you play your best players in the position. So for me, he has to sit on the bench.
Agreed.
Cavani has to start. So we need another centre forward, and also we need a right winger, but we'll get into that later. But for me right now, I'm looking at him. You've been at this club for 5-6 years. Our return, it's just not good enough.
Pull like this, Bobs. All things being equal, if we had a full balanced squad, then I could argue, yes, sell Martial in the summer, go get someone better. But for me, we've got so much other, I would say, pressing holes that need to be fixed that don't include replacing Martial, that I want to go do those things first before I even think about selling our second choice left winger. In my mind, that's why I stand on the Martial.
Why do you play Martial? If you're Ollie, convince me why you should be playing Martial right now.
I wouldn't play him right now, but he obviously sees him as a second choice striker because he holds up the ball. That's pretty much it because he ain't scoring no goals. Today, if we're talking about just today's game, Rashford was not good. We know he was trying all game. He finally got the assist at the end, but he wasn't good. Martial was actually a bit more effective when he moved to the left than Rashford was. But I do agree, generally, moving Rashford out of that position to accommodate Martial, to get Martial back into form, is wrong because Rashford has been producing all season. Even if he hasn't been playing well for 90 minutes, he's effective in the majority of games, more than others. But I just think we've got so much other centre-back, defensive midfield, right wing, providing Diallo does not hit the ground running, that selling Martial right now isn't even in my thoughts.
One sec, I want to hear from KJ on this. Go on.
Even if Diallo hits the ground running, we still need a right winger. We still would need a right winger. When I said play Mengi at centre back or Tuanzebe at centre back, I heard no, you can't do that because they're too young, too much pressure, too early. Go get a proper centre back. Cool. When I'm saying playing Greenwood in the centre, people are like, oh no, too much pressure, he's not ready yet. Bring in a striker so we can and let him learn after that. Cool. But all of a sudden with Diallo, it's, just put him there and let him be right winger for it. No, it makes no sense. He's still only 18. He's still just got here. Even if he comes in and tears it up. We saw Greenwood do that last season. Now look, he went through a hard summer this season. And it's only just now they're starting to look like back on form. If we just solely rely on Diallo next season as a right winger, we are finished, fam. We need to go buy a right winger. Martial, for one season, playing backup left winger, it can do. We can do. He's still useful. You can still use him in some way, shape, or form. No one's saying start him. He shouldn't be starting right now. He's poor. It's been terrible. But to say sell him and remember, Bobs, I understand where you're coming from, but remember who we deal with, these pagans, bro.
I know.
We can't sell him now when we can't even trust them to get a proper right winger, proper DM, and a proper centre back and a backup right. We still need a backup right back. Where is that? But anyway, besides that, the game today just wasn't good enough. It wasn't. Yes, we got the win, and big up Scott, man. He gets a lot of stick here, and he's improving week in, week out. So we love to see that. But at the end of the day, Donny, listen. We need to chat.
We're getting on to Donny now, yeah? All right.
I can't wait. I'm here.
I want to chat, fam. Donny van der Beek, is an excellent footballer. Excellent footballer. No one's disputing that. But he has to do more. Our system doesn't suit the way he naturally plays. So what do you want to do? Change the entire system for him?
Nope.
Or do we have to make it?
He has to change.
He has to adapt. We play a system where our number 10 needs to be the one on the ball, seeking the ball all the times, making things happen, running at people. Van der Beek started number 10 would work in a Pep system. Pass and move, find the spaces, wait for the ball to come to you because the player on the ball has that passing ability. We ain't got that. We've got Fred in the midfield. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to see more from Donny van der Beek. He needs to grasp this league and grasp this club better. I want to see him, instead of just floating around the defensive line trying to find little runs in behind, go in between the spaces. You're smart enough, you're talented enough to go pick up the ball in between the midfield and the defense and make player 1-2. Yeah. Player 1-2-1, or play it out wide and then do your drifting thing, do your ghosting thing when no one's expecting it. Right now, he is not doing enough. And it's not an attack on his ability. It's not an attack on his quality. He's a quality footballer. But if we say Martial needs to do more, Rashford needs to do more, Pogba needs to do more, Bruno needs to do more, Donny van der Beek needs to do more.
I hear that. Cam, what you saying on this, bro?
Thank you, guys. I'm being it out, but I came specifically to talk about that because I'm so tired of our fan base being like, free Donny, free Donny. We're seeing what Donny is. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I think he's a great player, and I do think he needs more time to acclimate, and there's probably a role in there for him in our squad as a squad player. People need to stop talking about Donny van der Beek like he is the second coming of Bruno Fernandes, or he needs to start week in, week out. He is going to be a squad player at the level he's playing. We're not going to change our entire system to suit him. Our system works. It's been working. And I'm going to say this with my chest. Scott McTominay needs to start in place of Pogba moving forward. Plain and simple. There should be no talks of putting Donny van der Beek in front of him. Scott has earned it. From day one.
While Pog was injured.
While Pog was injured. Yo, you know, I'm not saying.
Thanks for the disclaimer, KJ.
You're about to say.
Yeah. While Pog was injured. No. Once Pogba's back, Pogba's our dude. No, I've been the one saying we can't sell Pogba. So let's not talk about that. I'm saying while Pogba's injured, it's Scott's turn to play in that role because Scott is a true box-to-box midfielder. He's not a DM. He's doing the job of a DM. He's putting in a shift. He's doing decent. But he's not a DM. He's a box-to-box midfielder. Put him beside Bruno. Put whoever we need to put as a DM back there with Matic maybe or whatnot. It's unfortunate we don't have a DM, but Scott McTominay, right now, for the system, the way we play, he has not only proven it, he's also I don't get why people are so against him. He's an academy guy too. It's like he's one of our own. People should be lifting this dude up and being happy that Scott has just dusted the haters every single year. When people said he was just a pawn for Jose, next year Ollie came in and was like, well, I'm gonna use him. He goes out to play for the national team. Now he's a fixture in the Scotland team. All he's done has proven people wrong. And Fred's just not it right now for me. So you play Scott beside Bruno. We will be fine while Pogba's out. When Pogba comes back, he's a squad player. That's what depth means, people. You just got to pick the right depth. You can't shoehorn Donny in there. That's what I've been wanting to say because it drives me nuts.
I hear you on that. Look, on the Donny thing, I completely agree. He just doesn't play the kind of football we want. And I think what we're really seeing, and there's a super chat here that says this from Queen in the North. It's already skipped too many comments. I can't get it up because I didn't want to put it up while people were talking. It says the same people that hate on McTominay for his sideways passes, yet they want Bruno to be dropped for Donny van der Beek. People need to shut their mouths. Donny, for me, just doesn't take the risks that are needed in this Man United team. And they always say in boxing or in fighting, like sort of styles make fights. The same as the football, it counts the same. The tactics and style of your team needs to be mirrored by the kind of players that you've got, or they need to be able to adapt to it. And Donny, for me, he's always looking for that extra pass. He gets the ball and it's always one pass too many, where sometimes I think just have a shot. You know, your shot might make someone sort of dive for the ball and jump out of position. It's always looking for it to be perfect, and we need more cutting edge. On Scotty, yeah, I mean, he just continually gets better and continually silences people. Cheers, Cam. Thanks for coming on. Continually silences people and stuff like that. There's no doubt about it at all. I want to go to Kesh here. Kesh is a rival. We want you to get rival chat when it comes to these conversations. Everyone who's watching, smash that like button right about now, please. Let's get this past 1,000 likes while we're live. Kesh is here, who's a Gunnar. What did you make of tonight's performance, and more so the performances from the Donnies and the Martials that are getting a lot of criticism tonight?
It was lackluster, but at the same time, I feel that was because of the effort from West Ham. I felt they came to make the game a bit of a shithouse, and they actually done it for a majority of the minutes of the game. In terms of Van der Beek, I feel like you lot were really lacking the understanding of his game, and to say that he needs to take more risk. His game is based on possession.
Yeah, but Kesh,
it's based on recycling and taking time and waiting for openings. There was times when he was making the movement, and people saying that, oh, his movement's pointless. But if there was actually someone deeper and willing to find him, you would be thinking otherwise. I feel like if you're going to play Van der Beek and you want to replicate what Bruno gives, he's not going to give you that. So it's better to play him from deep. You will do a better job playing in a deeper role.
Yeah.
Listen, I agree. Let me say I'm done with it. I agree in terms of like this midfield three is probably the worst midfield three that we can play, because you have Van der Beek in the 10, who effectively plays like a second striker. When you think about Dele Alli at Spurs, and he was always basically just behind Harry Kane, how is he getting all the goals and his assists, etc.? Is because Eriksen was behind, supplying both him and Harry Kane higher at the field. The problem when you have Donny van de Beek and Fred and Matic, neither of them are progressing the ball into that number 10/second striker position. So Donny van de Beek, so if you have a Bruno in there, Bruno's going to come deep because he's probably more of a natural 8 than a 10, and he's going to drive the ball forward and create. If Van der Beek's going to be effective in that 10/second striker role, you have to have a Pogba who's going to pass the ball forward, or McTominay who's going to drive the ball forward. So, but the issue is, as I said, the squad is so imbalanced that when you're resting one player, your whole style ends up changing because you don't have like-for-like replacements. So I don't blame Solskjaer necessarily for playing that midfield three. But it's because Pogba's out, you have to rest McTominay because we got games coming up, etc. But it's just so poorly balanced that it's not going to work. It's really not going to work. And what I would like to see, however, is that maybe you have to do initiative as well, because you can have a natural game where my natural game is to pass and move. But when you see that's not working, get the ball and run forward 5 yards, 10 yards. He always passes first time, whether he's in the midfield or he's in the number 10 position. And I think he needs to take some time, a bit more initiative to say, you know what? I know this was my game at Ajax, but I want to get into this Man United team. What can I do to get into the team that's playing in a style that they are playing?
It's not a lack of understanding of what Donny van de Beek does. We understand what he does. But for us, it's more of we understand our team. This has really got more to do with the team than it does naturally Donny van de Beek. We have not set up to play to get the best out of him. We're not like we can be screaming free Donny, but it's unfair on him because we're bringing him to a team where we haven't got the players with the technicality to play these short passing combinations in the midfield, to play 1-2s and to hold the ball. We saw that against Everton. We couldn't see out a game, fam. So to expect Donny to come here and play his natural game is unfair on him in that way. He does need to adapt. I'm not saying change your game completely and don't become the player you are, because we're going to need his attributes in the future when players like Pogba leave, when players like Bruno are out. We're going to need these attributes in there, but he also needs to learn that, there is more that can be done. There's more that he can do to be a bit more productive on the pitch. He is an excellent footballer, starter. He's excellent and he's intelligent. And that's why I'm thinking, because you've got the IQ, you can do more than what you're doing. It's not like a Dan James.
No, I get that.
You know what I mean?
At the same time, you're not getting much movement from Martial up front. You're
And
not
again,
really
yeah,
getting-
This is what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
yo,
How do you put-
Martial Van der Beek, like a number 10, number 9 combination. We can't see that again.
Never gonna work.
It can't.
Never gonna work.
It's not happening. We can't see that. If he was with Cavani, if Donny Van der Beek is with Mata, because we've seen it, him and Mata together, wonderful. We've
They're on
seen
the same
him with,
wavelength.
yeah, we've seen him with Pogba, wonderful. Him and Cavani will probably be really good. In terms of Donny Van der Beek, if we want to get the best out of him, Ollie has to do better in surrounding the right kind of players around him, even within our squad. You've got Mata there. Use Mata.
Can I ask a question? With Pogba out, obviously everyone's saying McTominay has to start. McTominay has to start with who? Would you go with Van der Beek or Fred?
Van der Beek.
In the middle, in the double pivot.
Van der Beek.
See for that, yeah. If we're talking about systems and whatever and balance and so on, I think there's an argument to go with Fred, isn't there? Historically. However, if we're going to dominate possession and be good in possession and being advanced and going forward and not just keep playing sideways, recycling possession. If it does go forward, let it come back, then go wide and so on, mix it up. Then we've got to play Donny because we all know his abilities of playing central midfield. You know, if you're saying to Donny, pick up the ball, keep it ticking, go forward with it, yes. So I think you have to make a case for Donny van der Beek. What I will say regarding Donny van der Beek, if we play him in his actual position, we need a centre forward that's central. That's an actual outlet for us because you can't ghost into the box the way he does, and then we're looking to go forward, but then our centre forward is playing left wing. Listen, this is not Martial slander. You guys know I like Martial.
Mate, and just I agree with you. Like a lot of people, I was just in the Discord. Make sure you go sign up to the Football Terrace Discord now. And look, Terry's going in on Martial. I thought he was invisible as a striker today. But what did I say straight up? This is why you've got sometimes in life, especially you young men and ladies that are tuning in, is just because the first part of something you hear is something you disagree with. Don't run away and hide from it. Don't say space yourself, because what I then went on to say is when he moved out wide, he came alive and he looked a more dangerous player. And Martial, to me, coming in as an inside forward is dangerous. He's a better dribbler of the ball than Marcus Rashford, in my opinion, by a long, long way. He can link up well with the left-hand side. And now I don't do favourites, really. I do have favourites at United, but that never seeps into my criticism or praise. Martial moves back out left and starts killing it, and that means Rashford has to start on the bench or on the right-hand side, then so be it. We know that they both prefer that position. I don't really care which one of them plays as long as we're winning matches. But whenever one of those two guys are up front, there's something lacking in the way we attack. There really is. Man, like Alfie's with us here. Alfie, what you saying, bro?
Yeah, I was just listening to what you guys are talking about with Donny, Martial. There's a lot to agree with. There's also a lot to disagree with. I want to ask you guys, we played... The team that we played against today was strictly 9-man defensive team. Like everyone's aware of that. It was like, and let's not beat around the bush. Yeah, currently on form, they are the best team in London, right? Let's get that clear. They're the best team in London. I don't care about history. No, they are. Like to come here and destroy a 1-0 victory when we're going through this crisis in the world and we need to rotate. We need to rotate our players, make sure they don't get injured. Look, you know what happened to Pogba last week? That was as a result of the way that we're playing games every 3 days. That was strictly as a result. Nothing happened to him. Nothing happened to him in that game. It was just too much. Just too much kept on too much too soon. Every 2-3 days you're playing a game. He's been our standout performer, which means he's putting in 100%, and he got injured. No problem. When I'm hearing you guys talking about Donny, look, as much as I think you guys are freeballing here when it comes to systems and whether he can play in our system, or we need to either change and accommodate for him in the system, or he needs to switch up his game to play in the system. I don't believe that to be correct, and I'll tell you why. Is because to me, he looks like a player out of sorts. He looks like he's off form. Right now, I believe he needs a solid 5-6 game run, in the team starting. And he will flop in the first, second, third games. He will, because that's his current form. But he needs that confidence of game time. He needs that build up that game time where he's then accustomed to the flow, the tempo, the harshness. Like Premier League's a bit of an adjustment, yeah. And because we saw in the first, I mean, I remember he came on. I think it was like substitute in one of the first or second games.
Crystal Palace, he scored,
and he scored. Yeah, all right. But
debut.
he was like arguably, you could say, man of the match, even though he played 15, 20 minutes of the second half and we lost the game. For us, he was man of the match, I would say. There was no one that I would have said.
Alfie, who would you put in that midfield? Because he clearly is not going to replace Bruno in the 10, because Ali will not do that in the first 11. So in that double pivot, who does he play with and who's he coming in for?
I think it's so important right now that we keep Bruno for our league games and all the cup games, that's the Europa League and the FA Cup. I think Donny has to start as the Bruno role.
But he has to play, doesn't he, Alfie?
Yeah, but you said you just think he needs to play 5 games in a row. So...
No. But this is what I'm saying. Like, if you can put on someone, look, he can play. You know, he can play in Bruno's role. That's a given. That's the reason why you put him.
But I disagree, because he can play as a number 10. He can't do the same job as Bruno. I've seen him play a number of games. The Leipzig game, the West Ham game at Upton Park, and there was another one. And in our system, he looks lost in the number 10 position. He looks completely lost. So I don't think it's as simple as he can play the Bruno role. The only way he can do that, and it's not, again, he won't even do the job that Bruno does. It's about the players around him. When he looks best, he came on against Newcastle. He had Bruno and Mata. Against Brighton, he had Mata. I don't think Bruno played that game. Pogba came off the bench, or maybe he started. Like, I think it's really the way he plays is so ingrained from the Ajax system that you can't, in 6 months, it ain't going to get out of him. So you're either going to play certain players around him to get the best out of him, or it's just going to take longer for him to adapt.
So what are you saying? So what are you saying? Is he a number 6 or is he a number 8? What? Because I believe he's a number 8 in that number 8 position, and that's free reign from just outside where Bruno is. I didn't say he's the same player as Bruno, bro. There's hardly any players apart from KDB that is comparable to what Bruno is right now. So I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is he? Because I think he can. Do
you know what I would say, Alf? What I would say is this: the runner game thing's important. What is good with this condensed season is you can still play a game a week at the moment, because we're in the FA Cup, we're in the Europa League as an example. So over the next 3 to 4 weeks, if he's fit, Donny van der Beek should play 3, 4, 5, should start 3 or 4 games. There's no doubt about it. He'll probably do very, very well in Europe, because European football seems to suit him a bit more. I don't care whether it's the 6 or the 8 or the 10. I'm really not bothered. You need at times to take risks. So you don't take risks with cutting edge balls when you're in your own, when you're 20 yards from goal, your own goal, even 30 yards from goal. But when you're in the opponent's half, and not every ball has to be a Hollywood pass, but you need to try and attempt to break the lines. That's my only major criticism of Donny, is everything is a little bit too safe. So I want to see him get more game time. And this is where people sometimes get twisted in these arguments. I don't want to see him sold. I don't think he's a trash footballer. I don't think that Donny, it's been a waste of money. I still think he can make it at Manchester United. But there's an element of this that is on him, the individual, on him, the player. And he's got to try and take some risks. He's got to have a shot at times. He's got to, that's going to be a hard ball to pull off, but I'm going to go for it. I was actually watching social media at the same time tonight. And there were 3 or 4 times that Rashford made runs from the left-hand side tonight when the West Ham backline had pushed up a little bit high. And on 3 or 4 occasions, twice Donny van der Beek had the ball. He didn't even attempt the pass. And what I saw on social media was, why is Rashford making stupid runs for the ball? And I'm sitting there thinking, when has this happened in football, where making the runs to break lines is now considered wrong because it may lead to a loss of possession if the pass doesn't come off? I think people have become so obsessed with wanting to see total football. Arsenal fans, and Kesh may or may not agree. I remember watching Arsenal fans 10 years ago become infuriated because it was like Arsenal were trying to walk the ball into the back of the net. And look, Pep Guardiola has got it working to a degree, but Pep Guardiola is one of the only managers in the history of football that's managed to get a team to do that on a consistent basis. So just like, we can't do it, right? So we can't try and play like that. We need to be more direct. We know how it works under Ollie. and it's yielded like a really big improvement this year. I feel for Donny. I really do. He looks devoid of ideas. He does need game time, but he needs to step up in those moments and try to produce. Because for me, this is what's going wrong in football nowadays. People are sympathetic with him because he isn't doing anything wrong. We ain't doing anything great. I'd be far more encouraged tonight if he went for 3 or 4 balls as a 10 to break the line and they didn't come off. Same as
Rashford. Shoot.
Give an example of Rashford tonight. I think he attempted 8 dribbles, completed 5 of them. 3 of the dribbles that didn't work out, he ran into brick walls and it was like, lost the ball. But I'd rather see a player trying and failing than an individual not stepping up and making himself be counted. And I'll give you a great prime example of that. And this is how I know the football hipsters are changing their tune. What was the biggest criticism of Ozil? That in the big games, you'd be like, is he on the pitch? Because he didn't step up and make himself be counted. And I'm sick and tired of seeing football players get criticized, Bruno Fernandes being one of them, Rashford being another. They try to win their team games, and they get more criticism for trying and failing than individuals that go through football matches. It's a stain on football.
Can I just say something though? Like, whenever I've watched Van der Beek in his previous years at Ajax, he's always been a safe player. He's never been this guy who's gonna go and take a lot of risks. He's never been that guy. And the reason why he looked incredible is because of the Ajax way of playing, and they'll just pass and move until they find an opening. And most of the times, he was getting on the ball in the final third, where he's getting a little pass around the corner for someone to score, or he's getting on the end of a chance to score. So maybe you lot have assessed this signing totally wrong.
We have. You know why we have? Because I've been saying it for time, but people don't want to believe Lee. Like, man like Cam, respect to you, he was just on. He was telling me that this is an early signing. You can see. You can play in this sea. These Wallads. You can basically see these Wallads, panicked. They couldn't get Sancho. They couldn't get Grealish. That's what I think
Grealish was the key one at that point.
Yeah, Grealish was the one that wanted. They couldn't get him. Like, what do we do? Edwin. We know Edwin. Yo, who you got? Van der Beek? Yo, give me him quick. And Ollie, I don't personally believe in his heart of hearts. He was like, yes, Van der Beek is the guy I want.
Well, put it like this, KJ.
They offered him to him, and he was like, right, it's either this or nothing. And these pagans, won't give me nothing.
Nah, see, KJ, I can't have that, man. I can't.
It's obvious to see, bro. It's obvious.
This is too much Disney story making from you, bro. How can you go around and say so? Listen, Donny is a young, up and coming, good player, proven on a European level. European level, proven. Facts, Whether he can adjust that to the Premier League is a completely different story. But if it's up to anyone, to do that, it's a team like Man United that can get good out of youth. Now, our problem has been Bruno is too good. And then we had that uproar with Pogba where you had to play him, otherwise his best friend wants to take him out of the club. All right, so bro, we've been put in a position where really you can't really play Van der Beek every single week in, week out, or every other game, because you've got players in front. Genuinely, how many players in front of him in that particular
I'm not talking
position?
about him playing every week.
But now, genuinely, you have to look at him as a player. It wasn't like he's not like a 29-year-old, just a panic buy. People said that, had you said that about Cavani, you would have half a point. And because that's more of a believable story. Man United couldn't get anyone until the last day, and they were like, who's available?
No, bro, but you're not listening to what I'm saying. It's nothing to do with him playing every week. It's the fact that, does he suit what we're trying to do? Does he suit what Ali's trying to do? Like, at the time when we signed it, I thought, yes, he would be a signing that would adapt and be useful. And he hasn't done that. So I have to look at it again and be like, have they really assessed this brother correctly?
No. But where has he had the opportunity to be useful, KJ? Because he genuinely, like, these games that you're seeing him playing, these are second string games. And when he comes on, we all say in the beginning of the game, today VDB needs to prove himself, or I need to see more from him. I need to see him do something. I need to see him open up a play, create a chance. I need to see him on the end of a header. So we say these things, but bro, I mean, I'll be honest with you, this is a West Ham game in the FA Cup, which is we're going to play the second string. He's not going to have the ability to be playing with Bruno, Pogba.
He should be doing. He's one of the better. He's one of the best players in the pitch.
He should be, but how much do you expect a player to give when he doesn't have the full? He doesn't start with the full first team, bro.
They train every week, daily, and we've been trying to find at times, especially early on in the season, midfield combinations. Other than Bruno's like his first name on team sheet. Midfield combinations. So if we're saying that he's not a 10, he's an 8. Why is it that Matic, Fred, and McTominay are always ahead of him in the pecking order, regardless of the competition, regardless of the game, even in terms of substitutions? Now, of course, I know certain times it calls for a certain player. You might have to defend the lead, so you bring on Matic, or you need a bit more energy, so you bring on a Fred or McTominay. So if Van der Beek can't get in ahead of those three, when is he going to get in? Because we're saying, forget the Bruno one, the number 10. He needs to be forcing himself into the side in that double pivot. I saw him play one game in the double pivot off the top of my head against Istanbul at Old Trafford. We won the game 4-1, but it didn't work with Fred and Van der Beek. We kept getting overrun in the midfield, even though we won the game. So if that's not his role, and the number 10's not his role, what is his role? What is his role at this club?
Well, do you know what? I think it's a great conversation. The viewers are having their say as well, which is amazing. The training thing stands out massively to me. We always pretend like, oh yeah, why? There's always got to be a conspiracy around. Ollie must not like him. Wasn't he signing? And look, maybe he wasn't. We know that Man United did this with Fred, with Jose. They said, look, it's Fred or no midfielder, so he picked him. And you could almost see there's almost parallels between how Fred was treated in his first 15 months. 16 months at the club and Donny van der Beek in terms of we were all saying this in the early days of Fred. Why is he not getting opportunities? He's barely coming on. He's sitting on the bench. And then when he did play, he was so bang average. And it wasn't until it took Ollie even a bit of time to get the best performances out of him. And he's been pretty good, barring his shooting. He's been pretty good for a good 15, 16 months now. But I think Donny can make it. But the difference is this, is that the one area I would criticize with the purchase, whether it was Ollie signing or not, so some of this may go on Ollie, but these are the risks you take when you buy someone. Can he adapt to how we play football? Because it is sometimes it's difficult to find a player in a system at another club in another country who's playing in the same system, in the same role that you need, with the same style of manager, with the same management tactics, in a league that's as fast, as quick, and as physical as the Premier League. Like that doesn't actually, in my opinion, I think that's rocking horse poo. Do you know what I mean? You'd be searching for Aslan in Narnia. Like it's going to be a hard thing to find and do. So there's always going to be this element of risk when buying a player. And I think what's great about the conversation, no one is slagging him off, saying he's trash, saying he's bad. We just need to find what makes him more clinical. And hopefully, he's going to get this run now in the Europa League. Maybe he could make the difference. Do you remember? He didn't have a great United. I hope it goes better than this. But Mkhitaryan was never that great for United in the league. But actually, that Europa League year that we won it, he was imperative the whole way through. So maybe Donny can be
the season.
Exactly. Maybe Donny can be in that important part there and then grow on that from next season. On a positive, though, we're going to do some more calls in a bit with everybody. Make sure you're all smashing that like and share button right now, ladies and gentlemen. On a positive, though, like we're into the quarterfinals now, and of course, we're first to go through. Bournemouth have gone through as well.
Yes, Brexit FC in the mud. We love to see it.
They're out. Like it's very likely. I mean, there's a big game tomorrow, Everton, Tottenham. So one decent team is going to go out, but it's highly likely that Chelsea will beat Barnsley on Thursday. Highly likely that City will beat Swansea, and highly likely that Leicester are going to go through as well. The quarterfinals and semis are gearing up to be really tasty, aren't they?
Can I ask you guys that?
Yeah, who's Arsenal got?
Wow.
Sorry.
But let me ask you lot something. Do you lot then become scared if City goes to this final as well? Because then your treble is in danger.
No, it's not. They're not winning no Champions League. Get out of there.
Still a treble.
No, they've done it. They've already done the domestic.
Which treble are you talking about?
Domestic treble.
They've already done the domestic.
They did it 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, so that's cool, isn't it? They can do that until if they get to the Champions League. Now, if they get to the Champions League final,
crazy. Do you know what's crazy, right? I celebrated when they beat Liverpool the other night. I did all the stream, finished. I sort of sat down. I had a little glass of wine, and then this sobering thought hit me. And it was like walking into closed patio doors. It was like, bang, just stop still. And I was like, oh no, what if City do the quad? I was, for me now, that's the worst nightmare. That for me, I'd rather Liverpool go back to back than City do.
No.
Yes.
No. Sorry.
Alfie, let me tell you why. And if you can come back from this, I'll check. If you can give me a logical reason as to why I'm wrong after I say what I'm about to say, I will change my mind on air, and I very rarely do that. Man United, do we or do we not have the greatest singular achievement of any one team in any one season, having won the treble?
Yes. But can I?
So, in my opinion, if a team does the quad, okay, and if you add in the little nuances, it's 3 titles in 4 years. They've done a domestic treble in that period, and they do the quad.
And it's our rival. And it's
no problem. But can I?
Let me just finish.
Yeah, go on.
They do all those things. This City team become the greatest English team of all time. They go in front of every single team that has ever existed in this country before them.
And then they're gonna have the Champions League on top of that.
No. Fine.
The thing is, if Liverpool win back to back, Alfie, before you go in, if Liverpool win back to back, that's old news, mate. We've done it. We've done it. Do you know what I mean? We've done it 3 in a row, right?
No problem.
We've done it 3 in a row, Alfie. So like, it's not even. They're still not on our level. The fact they do it back to back.
No problem.
If they win back to back, yeah, cool story, mate. Do it 3 years in a row, then come chat to us.
That's why.
No.
Let him respond. Let him respond.
All right. I am already resigned to Man City being absolute cream of the crop. I'm already, whether you like it or not. I said some shit a couple of weeks ago on the stream. I said something outrageous after we got kicked out of the Champions League. I said Bruno is going to win the Champions League before Manchester City does. Listen, I'm going to eat my words today live. I'm going to say, honestly, the way Manchester City's defense is looking, just it look like pasta I want to eat, bro. Yeah? Amazing. I'm already resigned to the fact that Pep is Manchester City. Manchester City aren't this greatness. Pep is Manchester City. Yeah. And they are no problem. I have no problem them being what they are right now because of the style of football they play. My greatest rivalry is Liverpool. I don't think you understand. I support 2 teams, only 2. Manchester United and whoever is playing Liverpool. Understand this. As soon as they win that back-to-back... But 1 second. As soon as they win that back-to-back, that means they are level with us on 20. And I cannot have this.
See, for me,
Alfie, that's not it. Alfie, one second. Can I go? Alfie, think about this. These brothers, these bats, fam. We're calling them bats on this channel, innit? These bats, listen, them man have come from nothing. They had the guy come in, change the way the club is structured, give them the money. That's cool. That part of me, I don't really care in it. Like, that's fair enough. So at least someone's doing that for their club, unlike our pagans. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but listen to this, if they do the quadruple, they did the domestic treble, we're still above them for that. We are still above them for that because the Champions League is greater than the League Cup. If they do the quadruple, they are now immortal.
Yeah, you can't beat it.
They're immortal, bruv. Like if they just did the domestic treble again, that's crime. Like, it dies down. Like, we forgot. You forgot they did it. You know what I'm saying? It just dies down and they die again. They will go down again.
But if they do my point is
immortal.
I know, but my point is
immortal.
Listen. My point is, if they are,
let me respond to your point. So I hear you. City doing the quad is worse than Liverpool getting to 21, Liverpool getting to 22. And I tell you as to why. Because you could only ever match the quad. You could never, ever be the first to do it. And you can never do better than it. So whatever happens for the rest of football, in 1,000 years' time, if football still exists then, right? In 1,000 years' time, the first team ever to do the quad, if it's City, there's no coming back from that. Liverpool could get to 23, 24 titles. The day we get to 25, we're the first team to have 25 as an example. So you can always catch that record. we're the first ever team in England to win the European Cup. It can never be taken away from us. We're the first team ever to do the treble, can never be taken away. The quad's worse though, because it can't ever be bettered. You can't better it unless you do it twice, and no one's doing it twice.
No, hold on. I agree that they will go into folklore, but you know what? They won't become legendary. They won't become.
No, Alfie, you're capping.
Bro, you're looking. Let me just say this, Alfie. You're looking at that. I hear you from what you said about Liverpool being the biggest rivals. I think you're looking at that from how I feel about City to how I feel about Liverpool. What you're missing out is how the rest of the footballing world perceives it. And that for me is more important than our rivalry, because that's bigger than our rivalry. They do it right now, in all sense and purposes. If you talk to people outside of the rivals, if you speak to a Doncaster fan, a Leyton Orient fan, a Dagenham and Redbridge fan, say, what's the greatest single achievement of any team in England? They will all say Man United winning the treble, because they do. I've got friends that support clubs outside the top 6, outside the Premier League. It's always that. And that's the problem for me. I want to be the team. And I know last year there was a lot of hate thrown at Arsenal fans that celebrated Liverpool being beat because they didn't go invincible in the Premier League. We should forget about No, you shouldn't, right? Because the irony in that, and I am talking to you, Lee Gunnar, on this. Because people always talk about, I want my club to go back to what it used to be. The heritage of my club. I know so much about my club. My standards are high. I don't want to settle for mediocrity, right? I want to be I want to go back to where my club was at its best, right? Then why would you denounce your history? The reason those standards that you want your club to get back to are based on things like winning trebles, winning doubles, going invincibles, etc. across multiple clubs. That's the pinnacle. No one can take that away from you, and you should celebrate it every single day. You should be proud. If man goes out and gets a PhD in 30 years' time, you should still be proud of that PhD, bro. It's like, why do you still go on about your PhD you got 30 years ago? No, I do. It's something you should be proud of. And for me, that's why now every single City game, they've got to lose. What?
I've just seen this. What? How does that make sense?
Back-to-back Champions Leagues is better than a treble, in my opinion. Splash. Is that
Splash,
correct? Splash, bro.
No.
Tournament
Splash,
football.
bro.
You know why I disagree? You know why I disagree with that? Because yes, the Champions League has only gone back to back. Real Madrid were doing back to back.
Yeah, there's only 3 times.
So already doing back to back is like, okay, but have you done it back to back? Secondly, before it was called the Champions League, so it went to European Cup, teams did it back to back. So if in the grand scheme of football, the European Cup has been defended. It's just since it changed to the Champions League, Real Madrid were the first to do it. No, I'm not having that.
Yeah, the treble for me is the best thing you can do. And obviously we have the ability in the UK to do the quad because we have the extra domestic cup. Not every country has that. But the reason why it's the hardest thing to do is the league is unyielding. You play everybody twice. We all know, because even look, when we last won the FA Cup as Man United, I respect LVG forever, but that was the easiest run to a final we've ever had. The hardest team we played was Everton in the semis. Now, I mean that with respect to Everton, they're a good team, massive history. They haven't won a trophy in my lifetime, or not since I was a baby, right? So they're not a massive threat. City in the last few years, they've had some domestic cup runs that have been so simplistic. It's been unbelievable. The same can happen in the Champions League. You can sometimes get through a round or two and go up against some average teams. The league doesn't happen. To win your league, you need to be the best team over 38 games, over 10 months, week in, week out, not in periods. Sometimes, some of the seasons that I've seen, like Real Madrid win their Champions League, they were brilliant, but they were like average
in their league
in the group stages, and the second half of the season they blew up. But because they weren't great at the start of the season, they weren't winning their league. They weren't winning their league because they weren't good for a whole domestic calendar, and I think that's important.
Terry, you want to read this super chat coming up now?
Oh wow, okay. Man United in '99 were lucky, were only luck. Got outplayed in the Champions League final and won on luck. They win the league by 1 point, and Giggs scored a fluke goal after Bergkamp, who never misses a penalty, misses one. Arsenal in 98 and 99 team did the double on them.
This man hasn't seen the DVD. He hasn't seen the DVD. He hasn't seen the DVD.
Like I'm like, what? Now, fair enough, yeah. People say you make your own luck, yeah. Did Man United tell Bergkamp to miss the penalty? No, bad finishing. Great
Michael
goalkeeping.
saved it. Great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Great goalkeeping. What is it that they say in football when you grow up? Play to the final whistle. Bayern Munich didn't. We did. Shut up. We keep moving.
Yeah, and you know, Bobs, you know the mad thing about that Champions League run? You talk about easy runs. We had arguably the hardest run to a Champions League.
Oh, we went to Turin, bro.
Listen, our group. No, forget it. Start to begin. Our group was all right. Brombury, whatever. Group with him, boys. We had Barcelona, who we drew 3-3 twice, and we had Bayern Munich, who I think we drew both games 1-1 or something like that with them. Then we got Inter Milan in the quarterfinals. Then we got Juve in the semi-finals. And this ain't Juve of now, even though Juve are good now.
The Juve of Zidane.
Exactly.
Of Zidane.
And Inzaghi. This is proper Serie A.
Peak.
And then we play Bayern Munich again, who neither could get the better of each other in the group stages. And we win the final. Like, that was degree of difficulty 100.
It was, man. And do you know what I'd say about, if you even just look at that league, we won. So why we're talking about this a lot last season, when people were sort of really sort of bigging up and talking massively about points totals being the barometer for how good a team is. And like we said it then and we say it again, when you're balancing 3 or 4 tournaments at the same time, that always has to be taken into consideration. In a third round FA Cup draw against Liverpool, and Liverpool were a decent cup team at that point. And listen, coming from behind, scoring late last-minute winners, it was a sign of Man United's relentlessness and how we grind teams down. Do you know what? If you score 2 goals in the opening 10 minutes or 2 goals in the last 10 minutes, what's the difference? It's the same thing. You still win. You can't take nothing away. Was there luck that season? Of course there was. But every team that's ever won a trophy, there's been luck. No team has ever had and you think about that year as well. You just mentioned like the Champions League run. I don't remember all the teams who played in the FA Cup, but we certainly played the second best team in England that year in Arsenal in the semis, and we played Liverpool in the third. Maybe it was a 4th round actually, rather than the 3rd round. It's a madness. But look, people have been. It's interesting you say that. If you actually Google now, greatest ever Premier League teams, I went through about 15 different websites when we did our ranking session. The Man United 99 team, the highest I saw them ranked was about 7th. It's been a team that's been continually denounced. And the reason that it's been denounced by a lot of media is because they know it's the best achievement possible. But what a lot of outlets try to do, like Rivals do, and Rivals do it and you're meant to do it. If you keep playing it down and rewriting history, it's how you change history. Like, history is not a difficult thing to change. All you've got to do is keep telling a lie over and 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 over again. Like, Winston Churchill was 100% a nice guy. If you keep saying it enough on TV and in textbooks, the world believes it. Do you know what I mean? And then you hear the truth and you're like, no, that can't be true. That my Winston didn't do that. He did, bro. Like, he did some great stuff, but he did a lot of bad things too. No, he didn't. That's true. But history gets rewritten generally by the people that are in charge. But it's a madness for me. But that's a crazy super chat. Thanks for getting it in. Cedric here says, Enigma is almost correct. 10 Men United stopped Arsenal from getting the double and beat the best teams in Europe had to offer in the same season. I love that, Cedric. It's very true. And that's almost the embarrassing bit as well. Like, I remember that semi-final like it was yesterday. And when Keno got sent off, I just remember thinking to my, like, I was young. I remember wanting to cry. I was like, oh, we're done. This is because it was Arsenal. I actually think the late 90s Arsenal is the best Arsenal team, definitely the best Wenger Arsenal team. And I'm like, they're going to kill us. They're ruthless. And then there was the Anelka goal, which seemed to take about 15 minutes for it to be offside. And I remember, like, my heart went. And then when that penalty happened, actually, my first thought when the penalty happened is, Phil Neville's going to get the Beckham treatment. Like, he's going to, like, they're just going to go at him, right? And the save, I always remember that save. And the bit that stood out to me is the elite mentality of Schmeichel. I'm reminiscing here because Beckham jumped on to hug him and he puts it in his face and get off me, mark your man, it's a corner. And I just remember, I looked at that and said, that's leadership, bro. And that game, and then the Giggs goal. And the best bit about the Giggs goal, Patrick Vieira, I hated him. I absolutely despise him because he was one of the greatest footballers ever, and he was playing for, at the time, our biggest competitive rival in Arsenal. And you know, when you look back as a kid at things and nostalgia takes over, It's the only time in my memory I remember him giving the ball away. He just never gave the ball away. He obviously did, but I felt like he never gave it away. He seemed to win every tackle that he went in for against a United player, and he was always immense. He's one of the best midfielders the world has ever seen. But he gave the ball to Giggs. That makes the goal sweeter for me. And by the way, I quite like Dixon. I think he's actually quite a good pundit as well, underrated. Man got taken on twice in the same run. I love it. It's just man, epic. The hairy chest, the pitch invasion. It just absolutely. I think that was where Giggs become a ladies' man after that. I think people were like, oh, look at that hairy chest. That's when he got all the attention as well. He's life changed.
That goal pissed me off, man. That goal pissed me off. Beautiful. How can you not just take him out? Like, I just don't understand. Oh, God.
Do you know what's funny as well, though, right? You know, like, it's funny you bring that goal up. Like, tonight, right? I watched Rashford in the last few games. Have you seen that he's gone on these runs where he's beat one man, two, he's getting into the box and he's been getting tackled, right? The problem is Rashford isn't as good as we know he isn't as good as Giggs. I'm not even going there, but people do realize that that Giggs goal can't happen unless somebody runs into what you call a dead end and tries to take people on. It's impossible. You think about all the great goals. If Zidane doesn't try to volley it from the edge of the box, if Rooney doesn't try the overhead kick, if Gareth Bale doesn't try the overhead kick, and you can all for your clubs name goals. If Thierry Henry doesn't chest it, turn and go for an outrageous volley from like 35 yards out, that goal doesn't exist. And look, I'm pulling on great players.
Terry, if Gareth Bale never ran off the pitch, listen, run off the pitch, you know.
Exactly, man. It's one of those things to me. If you know what makes me laugh about the people that are attacked, it isn't just Rashford. Lots of players get it. It's like you go on about football. These are the same fans who will say to you things like football's entertainment. It's what have you done for me lately? It's about big moments. It's about like those spine tingling things you want to see. But you're never going to get that unless you allow people to express themselves. It just doesn't exist. That's the one thing I'd say about Pep Guardiola's teams, and I don't mean this horribly. Like a lot of the goals they score, I used to say this about Barcelona in their pomp. I was like, they're a brilliant team, but I do find them boring. Because it's regimental. It isn't sort of. I prefer the way Real Madrid teams won Champions Leagues because it was like huge moments. But yeah, man, that's why football's so great. Though,
Terry, one could call that individual brilliance, isn't it?
It definitely exists.
Real Madrid did individual brilliance to the max, but apparently that's not good enough, innit? I just leave that there, man. Just leave that there. Leave that there.
Comment here from DJ says, Chelsea fans, the reason why I laugh at rivals, they only remember Chelsea winning things after Roman buying us. They don't know history of what we won pre-Roman. I mean, bro, I remember, I'm old enough to remember you winning a couple of FA Cups. I know one of them was against Middlesbrough. I remember watching when I want to say it was Petrescu scored like 30 seconds in, or was that Di Matteo?
I think it was Di Matteo.
It might have been Di Matteo that scored really early in the game. I do remember Petrescu scoring in the final as well, I think. I remember you doing that. Chelsea were always this team when I grew up.
UEFA Cup they won, in it, didn't they?
Yeah. But I always remember Chelsea being the team that every summer they seemed to sign a star or two. Like a Ravanelli. Vialli came in. Ravanelli was Middlesbrough. Vialli came in. Zola. They're always buying players loud. And you were like, oh, serious. And I always remember my brother, who used to watch a lot more European football than me, was like, do you realize the quality they just signed? And it just never really happening for him. Do you know what I mean? It was just weird, really, in relation to that. But there we go. We're going to do a few calls here. I know a few people have been waiting for a while. We're going to get a few people on. First of all, we're going to get that mod. Lincoln's in the house. What you saying, Links?
I almost thought I was going to go on the show. I was just looking at my phone. It was a pretty boring game today, man. To be honest, I think that's what happens. It always happens when we take out a few players from the starting XI. You take out Shaw, you take out Bruno Fernandes. It always the style of play always gets mixed up. I mean, Van der Beek did try his best, man, but I gotta say he has to play in the Pogba position for me. When Pogba got injured against Everton, I think it should have been Donny Van der Beek that should have been subbed on. I think that's where he should be playing, because you see the way he plays it safe. He doesn't play the way that Bruno Fernandes plays with all these risky low position passes. Yeah.
No, I hear you on that. I completely do. We're going to add Fixer to the stream as well. Fixer, what you saying, bro? What do you want to say, brother?
Yeah, hi. Basically, I just wanted to talk about Donny van de Beek real quick.
One sec, brother. Are you at my front door?
Wait, are you?
Are you Kendrick Lamar?
Are you filming on a GoPro, my brother?
Say what?
Are you filming on a GoPro?
Yeah, it's like a little bit tilted, like how
bubbly, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See what?
You got that fish eye.
It's because of the camera angle. It's a bit weird, but you know.
Got that fish eye,
No, I'm using two screens here, so there's a way it's positioned where it's long. It's long.
Man said, "Are you at my front door?"
It does look like he's at my front door.
No. I'm in my yard, mate. I'm in not London, mate.
I love it. Do you know what I love about your accent? And I spoke to the boys about this. I love when it's like every fifth, sixth word is proper London. I love it, Mike. What do you want to say, my friend?
Oh, I just wanted to talk about Donny van de Beek a little bit. Go
on, mate.
Like,
go on.
I think what's happening with Donny is he's playing with a bit of, he's not playing freely. Like he hasn't been in the team for a long time. So every time he comes on, he's like, he plays with trepidation. He doesn't play the way he should play. Remember when he first came, he was a bit more explosive. But now I remember that game against Liverpool when he had that run. He had a chance at a run, and for some reason he just stopped. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
He plays with this trepidation because he doesn't know when his next game is gonna be, and he doesn't know why he's not gonna play the next game. So he might try to make the run and fumble, and instead of Solskjaer going, you know what, well done, you're trying your best to be like, nah, you're not playing the next game because you messed up. So I think that he plays with a little weight on his chest, and I think he needs some game time. Solskjaer needs to put an arm around him, give him a few games. Now that Pogba is injured, we should just play him because we don't lose games when Donny plays. I don't know if you've noticed, we don't really lose games when he plays. So just give him a run on the team, like maybe 4 or 5 games, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I believe if they give him that chance.
We are playing West Brom next in the league, so it's not a bad shout to even
Yeah.
try.
Play him against West Brom. Play him against who are we playing after that? I think we'll play some dead team. And the last time we played Newcastle, Donny came on and changed the game for us. Remember? So
could you say that again? What team? What? Yeah, I didn't hear what you said about Newcastle. Some
the last time some dead team.
Before that, your hold tight, Kendall. Kendall is in the comments. You know what I'm saying? She's there. Be careful. She might call up in costume.
Second, everyone. What's that noise? Hello.
I've got your delivery here. Here's your Manscaped. You use 20% off promo code TFT.
I know this man bought Manscaped 100%. He's like, yeah, 100%. Listen, Fixer, thank you very much for coming on. Everybody that's tuned, look at Kendall. Get this guy off. Listen, we don't kick people off here for speaking the truth. It's as simple as that. Listen, everyone who's tuned in today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Smash the like button before you leave. So important to the Football Terrace that you get that done. The big announcement's still on the way. I'm very excited, but I'm also I'm actually really scared. I'm actually scared. Yeah, earlier on today, because I went through a lot of things, like my chest was pumping. I was like, this is mad. I feel like I'm going back in the ring. It's crazy. I'm legit scared. But I know you're all going to be there for the ride. Members, if you're watching and didn't check it out, check out the community page. Big message for you all of our members in there today. We're going to share that message on the Discord server later, but we put it out there first for the members. For what they do for us, essentially. And Brandon, I know you keep making up new accounts and coming here and saying what you're saying. Everyone just ignore him. It's all right, Brandon. Let him do his thing, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Let him do his thing.
Thanks for the views, Brandon.
Wait. The guy chose to pick the last name of Tyndall. What kind of last name is Tyndall, bruv?
Is Tyndall a cricketer?
No, not a current one anyway.
The word Tyndall.
Isn't that Brian Tyndall?
Is that the ex Bournemouth manager?
Oh, that's the thing Jay-Z has, the music thing, isn't it?
That's Tidal.
Oh, my bad.
That's quite sharp.
They're saying rugby, Terry.
There's a rugby player called I knew the name, but I've heard it. Rugby. There we go. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. Back in the morning. Make sure though, before you go anywhere, you check out the latest fan channel review video that's out as well. Great bit of content, if I do say so myself. Until next